What's up, Scorpio? Welcome back to another Four Paths Healing Tarot message. Going to cleanse the space. Then we're going to do some oracle messages to get an idea of what it is you are manifesting. What are you creating right now? Really, just what is it that Spirit wants you to know? Okay, that's what we're looking at. We're going to start with some sacred oracle messages, sacred symbol. I think that's what they're called. I love them. So this might have a very spiritual tone to it, as most of the readings on this channel do. All right. Thank you, God, Angel, Spirit Guides. Messages for Scorpio's higher self, higher calling, purpose, orientation, for their love, for their joy, prosperity, abundance, sound decision making. So let's start with these oracle messages for Scorpio, please. Thank you, God, Angel, Spirit Guides. For Scorpio. Thank you, God, Angel, Spirit Guides. Messages for Scorpio. Oh, okay. Anything else? Healer. Scorpio, you do have the ability to hold space like no other. Listen. Affirm, folks. Okay. We have growth out here. That's beneath the deck. All right. Shift. Fire. Might be a fire sign person somewhere near you. You are expanding your awareness, your knowledge right now. Might be reading about your ability to heal, your ability to heal yourself, what healing really means. You might be very passionate about this as well. Something about what you're learning about is igniting passion within you. It's shifting your consciousness and your awareness. And then the talisman. From this, you have a decision about what to do with this information. You know, the knowledge key. Knowledge, wisdom being the key to the world, right? Yeah, so it feels like there's something about to be birthed within you, or something giving you a new lease on your gifting, your spiritual ability, maybe the world. So God, Angel, Spirit Guides for Scorpio, we're going to look at what is in your recent past. What you are working through in your recent past, Scorpio. Thank you, God, Angel, Spirit Guides for Scorpio, please. What's in Scorpio's recent past? Okay. You popping out here, that fire sign. Maybe you have been around someone who is an Aries, or it might just be the energy of the card in your recent past where there's been a fire inside of you. You're wanting to learn something. You're wanting to know something, put your gift and your talents out in the world, feeling very passionate about an idea, like kind of like an awakening. With the tower being out here, feeling charged on this idea. You know, being intuitive, and it's like something came over you, Scorpio, in your recent past with the kind of cards that are out here. Confidence with the Aries here. We have you out here again, but in the form of the Seven of Cups. And then we have the Tower, which feels like shift. So in your recent past, it could have been there was a loss of some sort, some tragedy, some tragic thing that happened, some change that just kind of happened that probably put you into a shift that you weren't able to forecast, Scorpio. That's really what towers feel like. And so because of that, it initiated an inpouring of information. You had to become curious about something. You had to learn about some things differently, maybe for your survival, maybe for your growth, maybe to make sense of what was happening. And it just kind of felt like it also was like the push that you needed in a certain direction. Okay, with this this wand being out here and then being charged to do something with it. It's like you took that passion, maybe frustration, it could have been anger, fear, and you transmuted it into something. Thinking about, where can I go from here? What can I create in my life? It's like there was an awakening that helped you to realize that your abilities are infinite. I might literally just be speaking to someone who is a healer spiritually, with physically with your hands. Maybe you inspire people with your words, you write, you sing, you rap. I don't know, but with fire here being out here as a symbol, all of these fire cards, it's something that is inspiring to you, but then also has the potential to inspire other people. And usually we do that through our words. But this feels intuitive. Like you have always known about this gift. You've always known that you have this skill, this ability, this information that's coming through or was coming through. It's like it finally gave you the refreshing understanding that you've been needing, like it affirmed or confirmed something for you with this high priestess. This feels more like the high priestess energy visiting with you and sharing with you insight, knowledge about your ability to self-heal, about your ability to create the life that you want, your ability to use your gifts to harness whatever you really, really want to. So towers are really scary, but in this case, you know, you're probably in hindsight looking back, like, I'm so glad for that breakup. I'm so glad for the loss of that job, for the change in my income, for, you know, the loss that I've experienced related to, you know, brokenheartedness. I'm grateful for it now because it was through that it ignited my passion to get to where I am now. That's what I'm sensing someone is feeling, Scorpio. Now we're going to look at what you are currently working through. What's happening right now, and then we will get some cards out here for what's on the horizon. What is to come for you, Scorpio? Any advice? So we'll look at last. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. All right. What's Scorpio working through right now? Okay. You might be needing to convince people around you. You feeling like, I'm not going to say convincing people because Scorpio, you don't convince anybody, okay? You are the trendsetter usually. But with the Five of Wands, there's immense change still happening. You're still in the midst of the change. There was an initiation of that tower that kind of clearly made things just known. You can't unsee what you see when a tower happens. And now this is kind of like the residual. When we come out of the tower and we're different, but we still have to face the world being the same, but we are awakened. So you might have people that you're working with, people in your friend group that do not understand how you see things. And so I was going to say, you're trying to convince people. There was a correction there. There's an amendment to that, but kind of realizing that you're never going to get people to understand you, see you, recognize your vision the way that you do. And it kind of feels like you're accepting that. Yeah, with this kind of was laying kind of on my lap in reverse. This feels like acceptance of that. Okay. There's a very specific message that I want to say, Scorpio. For those of you who's watching this and you're dealing with a co-parent and they have been absent, this feels like you're still hoping that they might show up and do their part. And some of that is the conflict. Maybe that tower was a separation, or you being confronted with the fact that you realized that your co-parent was not going to do their part. And so you had to look at life differently. You had to rework some ideas. And so in this current moment, you're learning that, you know, I have to just accept that this is who this person is, or this is what this circumstance is. So now you're turning away from the outward conflict, and now you're looking at yourself and what you can control. So it's almost like you know this co-parent, this other person is not going to do their part. They're kind of upside down in their ability to be the provider that they should be. And so now here you are having a different expectation from this co-parent or this other person that's in your life, for those of you who are raising children right now. Now, another thing that's coming up for this current energy that you're working through, Scorpio, is that you're coming into a place where you're having a refreshing feeling of forgiveness. You're kind of accepting things for what they were. Like, okay, the past is the past. It happened. Oh, well, whatever. Moving on. I know how I grow and keep manifesting is to just let things be. Like, things happen for a reason kind of energy. But it kind of feels like there's still a little bit of conflict. There's still some energy around you of challenge, something challenging, something related to your identity, the way that you think, maybe things related to how you see the world, creed, belief set, someone challenging that perhaps. And then also here with the King of Wands being, or excuse me, of Swords being in reverse, this kind of feels like right now you're just not exactly clear about what kind of plan you want to have moving forward. That's one. Or you do have an idea, you do have a very clear plan about what you want to do to continue to grow, move on, but you're keeping it to yourself. You're not sharing it with anyone else. You're just kind of quietly, secretly mastering your plan, keeping your strategy enfolded so that you can harness it, so that you can heal. Maybe you are deciding to become a healer. Maybe you're deciding to, take some experiences from your past, transmute it into something you've been working in the background about how to make that happen. You just really want to keep it to yourself because maybe you have people around you who wouldn't see the vision, who might downplay your gift or your skill. And so you're like, oh, no, I'm going to keep this here to myself. You don't have to know. And I'm going to keep moving on and moving forward on that. Now we're going to get some cards out here, Scorpio. Beneath the deck, got some opportunity coming through. There's no coincidence that we see this, so we say thank goodness for that. We claim that. A pentacle out here. All right, so now we're going to just look at what Spirit wants you to know moving forward. Any messages for you moving forward? Thank you, God, Angel, Spirit Guides. For Scorpio, please. Messages moving forward. Any advice for Scorpio moving forward? What do you want Scorpio to know, to be aware of? Thank you, God, Angel, Spirit Guides. For Scorpio, please. There's going to be a sense of belonging. If what you've been working through right now has been connected to family, a co-parent, and there has been a break in it, in some type of harmony, it feels like that's going to be restored because you have the Four of Wands here and it's upright. And it's almost like this feels like Spirit wants you to begin to manifest or expect the best outcome. Even with all of the stuff going on, again, with what I just shared, if you have a co-parent or someone in your family who's just not doing their part in this family connection to secure the family, if that's not happening for you, it's okay to have an expectation that things can mend, things can heal. It feels like Spirit wants you to know that it's going to be really important to create and manifest what's actually going to be beneficial to you instead of focusing on the hurt, the pain. But I'm going to get some more out here related to the Three of Wands. God, Angel, Spirit Guides, why is the Three of Wands here? Let's see. Why is the Three of Wands here for the advice for what you want Scorpio to know? Okay. Yeah. Whatever. Thank you, God, Angel, Spirit Guides. I love a good preview because just a moment ago I showed you this Ace of Pentacles beneath the deck. Well, it popped on out. It feels like Spirit is wanting you to know that there's going to be a return of love, joy, abundance, the thing that makes you feel good. It might be something from the past, maybe restoration in the family, someone that you're not expecting who is a cousin, an uncle, a friend of the family might come along with an opportunity to help something restore, an idea, a way of doing something. Sometimes we'll have a family member come back into the family at the right time, and it just kind of seems like everything uh, grows right back into balance because of their presence and because they are back. That is something that's coming through. But this also feels like there's something that can grow out of all of this, because this popped out as well. Out of all that has happened, you have to make a choice. How much longer do you stay in the place of grieving this, feeling frustrated about this, which you are valid in how you feel, because there's potential, all of this gold color out here, all of the yellow and the pentacles and the cups and the wands. This feels like you have the potential to manifest what it is that you really, really want, but you have to believe that. Okay, so Scorpio, I feel like I'm talking to someone who, you know, that you went through a tower, severe change, done wrong. Okay, something you've been through something very, very important that cannot just be overlooked. It was life changing. You're still working through the residual of that, doing the work to carry on, and because you have the memory of that, Spirit is wanting to be tender with you and let you know that it's hard, but it is going to be really important for you to believe that what you can have is absolutely incredibly better and stronger and more beautiful and loving than what you went through in the past. So it feels like a focus on your passion, your gift. And then the talisman being out here early on, this feels like you get to choose, like you have the choice about what you take your energy, your passion, and what you invested in. In this Ace of Pentacles, there's a little opening. There's a way through to a whole new path. So this feels like you making that choice, using your key, your knowledge, your wisdom to go into the direction that really is going to be good for you, that blesses your life, that you know you are deserving of. It's going to be hard because we just had out here the Five of Wands. Now that is change energy. You're going through the hard part of change, which is freedom on the other side of that. That's what the Five of Wands is for me. But that also lets me know that right now the voices are loud, the frustration is loud, and it's distracting. And that's the hardest part about being able to manifest from that space and believe from that space. So start with what you can do and be tender and kind with yourself as you're working through the change, the pain, the sense of loss. Maybe you are literally just experiencing loss. So be kind to yourself. If you're able to just get out of bed and say one kind word to yourself after days of not being able to say a kind thing at all, well, you know what? That is growth. That is a step in you, you using your key in going into a new door. You know, if it means someone texting you or calling you or a heated email and you just giving yourself 10 more minutes to process it, get back present with yourself before responding, where in the past you might just shoot a pop off a response. You know, that's growth. So start from wherever you are in terms of believing and expecting the best for yourself, because that is the key here. Scorpio, my love cup, that is what I have for you. I love you. I hope you are well in the world wherever you are. And I hope I get to see you next week in another 4 Paths Healing Tarot message. Take care of yourselves out there. Bye.